From the outside, Daniel was the embodiment of success. His life was a polished facade, a testament to ambition and achievement. Every detail seemed to shine with promise. The name of a prestigious university on his resume, the glowing praise of professors who called him a future leader in banking, the pride in his parents' voices as they recounted his accomplishments to friends at family gatherings. His peers admired him, often wishing they could trade their uncertain futures for his seemingly secure path. But behind the applause, Daniel felt none of the satisfaction that others assumed must be his. Each morning, he rose to a routine that felt foreign, as if he were inhabiting someone else's life, a life laid out for him before he'd ever had a chance to decide what he truly wanted. Daniel's days were measured by the rhythm of lectures, assignments, and late-night study sessions. He memorized formulas and analyzed market trends, but these tasks only seemed to drain his spirit. In the mirror, he saw someone who met every expectation but none of his own. He wore the uniform of ambition, but inside he was hollow, weighed down by a secret he carried alone. He felt empty. He wondered if this was all life had to offer, if the pursuit of success meant the sacrifice of joy. Yet, beneath this emptiness, a hidden passion burned quietly. Since childhood, Daniel had been captivated by the world of art. Colors, shapes, and the stories they could tell on canvas brought him a sense of freedom that nothing else could. The brush felt natural in his hand, and the hours he spent painting never felt wasted. In those moments, his heart was light, his mind alive. Art was more than a pastime. It was the language of his soul, a way for him to express feelings that words could never capture. But in Daniel's home, art was dismissed. His father, a stern businessman, viewed creativity as frivolous, a distraction from the serious business of building a respectable future. His mother wished for him a stable career, encouraging him to pursue finance or law. So Daniel hid his passion, painting in secret during the quiet hours of the night, under the dim glow of his desk lamp. His works accumulated beneath his bed, unseen by anyone but him, each one a silent plea for the life he longed to live. Everything changed one afternoon when the university invited a renowned entrepreneur to speak. The auditorium was packed, filled with students eager for insights on wealth and power. Daniel expected a speech about money and corporate success. Instead, the guest speaker began with an unexpected confession. "For 15 years, the man said, I lived my father's dream. I studied law, became a lawyer, and made more money than I ever thought possible. People admired me, but every day I woke up miserable. I realized I was chasing someone else's dream, not mine. So I quit. I started a company that reflected my own passion. It was risky, and people laughed at me. But for the first time, I felt alive." The words resonated deeply with Daniel. It was as if the speaker had looked into his soul and described his own struggle. That night, Daniel took out his secret paintings and whispered to himself, "This is my dream. This is who I am." The weeks that followed were filled with turmoil. Daniel could no longer ignore the truth. He was living a lie, following a path carved by others. The thought of telling his parents filled him with dread, but he knew he had to take the risk. When he finally confessed his desire to pursue art, his father reacted with anger, warning him of wasted potential and shame. His friends were baffled, telling him he was foolish to abandon finance for painting. The pressure was immense, and Daniel found himself torn between duty and desire. But he remembered the entrepreneur's words. "Whose dream are you living?" With trembling hands and a pounding heart, Daniel resolved to follow his own path. The beginning was harsh. Daniel rented a tiny studio with barely enough room for his canvas and a bed. He sold his old textbooks to buy paint, and many days passed without a single sale. Nights were haunted by doubt and hunger, and sometimes he wondered if his father had been right. The struggle was real, and the temptation to return to the security of finance was strong. Yet every time he picked up a brush, he felt a spark, a sense of purpose that made the hardship worthwhile. He painted with intensity, pouring his hopes and fears into every stroke. His art became a reflection of his journey. the struggle for authenticity, the longing for freedom, and the courage to live true to himself. One day, a gallery owner stumbled upon Daniel's paintings. She was moved by his work and offered him a modest exhibition. Though small, it was a breakthrough. Then, unexpectedly, a photo of his painting was shared online and quickly went viral. People from around the world reached out, expressing how deeply his art had touched them. Orders began trickling in, then pouring faster than Daniel could keep up. His story and his art resonated with strangers, and within 2 years, his works were displayed in international galleries. What once seemed impossible had become reality. Years later, Daniel stood at his first major exhibition. Cameras flashed, critics wrote glowing reviews, and buyers eagerly awaited his next piece. But the moment that mattered most was seeing his father in the crowd, eyes glistening with tears. The man who once insisted on a path of finance now approached Daniel and whispered, "Son, I wanted you to live my dream, but you were brave enough to live yours, and that has made all the difference." Standing before the audience, Daniel shared his story. He spoke of years spent under the weight of expectations, chasing success defined by others. He described the emptiness he felt and the transformation that came when he finally chose his own path. He urged everyone listening, don't live someone else's dream. Don't let society, friends, or even family silence your passion. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs the real you. The crowd applauded, not just for the art, but for the courage behind it. Daniel's life was no longer a hollow pursuit of approval. It had become a testament to the power of authenticity, to the joy that comes from honoring your own calling. In the end, Daniel's story offers a simple but profound lesson. Success without passion is empty. The struggles you face on your own path are far more meaningful than comfort found on a path that isn't truly yours. Life is too precious to live for someone else's expectations. Chase your own dream and let your heart lead the way.